The To Sing To You Tempest Trials event accompanies our Hatari seasonal banner. If you score the max of 50,000 points, you can get the usual 42 orbs, 11,000 feathers, and 80 sacred coins. This month you can get Ephemeral 1 divine codes and 1 wind blessing to go with legendary female Byleth from last month. For sacred seals, we got attack and speed form and chill speed and res. As for our reward unit, you can get Hatari Deen. There is a 4-star and 5-star copy. We'll talk about him later and discuss what he's all about. For our first Sacred Seal, it's going to be Attack and Speed Form 3. If the unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grant Attack and Speed plus X to unit during combat. X is equal to 2 times the number of allies within 2 spaces, and you can add +1 after. This has a max of +7 attack and speed, which is going to require 3 nearby allies. Form skills have more space to work with than bonds and can give you bigger stat boost, but you do require more allies to function. If you're just baiting enemies to come to you, then it's not too hard to get at least +5 attack and speed, but if you need to spread out, then forms may become less effective. Personally, I like to use forms a ton, and while speed is generally not the most needed enemy phase stat, we do have dodge damage reduction now. If you don't want to use casual stats or attack and speed solo, then the form variant can be quite useful. Maybe not the best for Yen Fei, who has to be solo regardless. Another use for attack and speed form could be on your near or far safe armor tanks. I like running attack and speed bond on my Black Knight, so attack and speed form can replace that. There's also other faster units like Ascended Fjorm who may want the extra attack and speed. Generally, I do think form sacred seals are quite good, but may not be the highest priority. If you're a newer player still upgrading sacred seals, I do think the forms can be upgraded first before bonds. That said, you can also just run both on your same teams. Next sacred seal is Chill Speed and Res 2. At start of turn, inflict -5 speed and resistance on the foe on the enemy team with the high speed plus res total through the next action. The first dual chill is finally here as a sacred seal. I would expect more to trickle in soon. Dual chills do require a bit more thought because they total 2 stats instead of focusing on the fastest foe or the highest defense foe. Chill speed and res was literally only on dual Byleth and the B slot, and it's meant to help her outspeed and do more damage to faster, higher res threats. Chills do always debuff someone, which is nice. However, we have quite a lot of other mass debuffing methods these days. For example, we just got a Grand Hero Battle unit who can apply -5 debuffs to all stats and to multiple enemies. Chills are definitely better as sacred seals since the B slot is way too important. However, I wouldn't exactly say they are must uses. Debuffs can help your whole team, but you can also just run things like Swift Sparrow and your unit will always get that damage boost. Personally, I like having chill sacred seals for various content, but I've been playing for a long time and I have a lot more coins to spare. If you're a newer player, I would definitely not focus on upgrading these seals first, although the dual chills should only require 1 upgrade, so that's nice at least.
Princess Celica was all smiles when she heard I'd be here for the festival. Here, I get to test myself against the best of the best. It's a fair reward for enduring the crowds.
For a reward unit, this time we have Hatari Deen from Shadows of Valentia. In that game, you had to make a choice to recruit either Sonya or Deen, and I got Sonya, so it's neat to see Deen make his way into Fae, at least for me. Now, Deen is bringing some very interesting talking points with him, including his class type. He is a colorless Dagger Cavalry unit, which is incredibly rare for the most part. It's just not a standard Fire Emblem class, so most of the ones in Fae are seasonal units, and almost all of them are 5-star units. The only previous free-to-play friendly Dagger Cav is Merlinus, who is sort of a meme unit with 20 base attack. Deen is going to be a lot more usable for actually killing stuff, but Merlinus may actually have a shiny new weapon to enjoy. Before we get to that though, for stats, Deen has 43 HP, 36 attack, 39 speed, 27 defense, and 23 resistance. He will have a speed super boon, and for a ranged cavalry unit, 36 attack, 39 speed is pretty decent. That is the same as Sedgar and Summerleone. Deen has some good base HP, so he should be able to take a hit, and he can be a pretty good offensive free-to-play Cavalier. For his inheritable weapon, Deen brings the Bone Carver Plus, which has 12 might. At the start of combat, if the user has more than 25% HP, grant +5 attack and speed, and if unit attacked, deals 7 damage to target and falls within 2 spaces after combat. So Bone Carver does not get Fatal Smoke like the Serpentine Staff, but it still inflicts out of combat splash damage. Bone Carver is sort of an inheritable version of Jafari's Deadly Dagger, and that means you can stack on a bunch of other out of combat damage skills. Mainly we're talking about Savage Blow or Poison Strike. Since this is a dagger, you can also inflict -7 defense and res debuffs, so you could also tack on other debuffs, and you could run something like Vantage with close counter builds. While splash damage is fun, Bone Carver does give the user +5 attack and speed. That is actually quite nice, especially for Deen, who has decent base attack and speed to work with. He could use it as a very simple offensive dagger, and you can also refine it for 2 extra speed as well. I think this is a pretty cool inheritable weapon, and you can make some fun builds with it. For the rest of Dean's base kit, he has an interesting new skill for the free-to-play units. He comes with Swap because he has Speed and Defense Snag 3. Snag skills apply debuffs to the nearest foes within 4 spaces after using movement assist skill. Snag skills are another one of those skill lines that basically kinda got forgotten. They are only on seasonal or 5-star only units, and there are not a lot of them available. Not only are they premium skills, but snags are just not that amazing, probably due to being in the B slot. I would put them in the same tier as the Link B skills, but they require a bit more work, and they are only inheritable by Cavalry and Flyers. I mean, Legendary Lucina basically got attack and defense snag, which is good, but she gets to move again. Regular units do not get that luxury, and you also can't run Kanto unless it's on your weapon. While this could signify that we'll see snags on more free-to-play units, I still wouldn't expect to see them that often in builds. They compete with Ruse B skills, which can debuff multiple enemies in a line, and it's just harder to take advantage of the snag debuffs unless you're marching toward the enemy. Now enough about speed and defense snag. Last skill Dean comes with is Odd Speed Wave 3. He can buff himself every other turn, which is fine, but the inconsistency can be a problem. All in all, Dean's kit is alright, but it is his inheritable dagger that is the most interesting option. In terms of merging, Dean will get +1 HP, attack, and speed for the neutral nature. He has that speed super boon, which is very nice, and with +10 merges, Dean has a very flexible stat spread, albeit with a focus on offense. As mentioned, there is only one other free-to-play Dagger Cavalier, and that is Merlinus. With his 20 base attack, Merlinus is just not made for killing, but he comes with a hilarious 50 base HP and also some solid speed, defense, and res. For all intents and purposes, Dean is basically your only choice if you're looking to actually kill stuff. That said, Merlinus could be a fun user of Dean's Bone Carver. If you just want him to survive and proc out of combat damage with dagger deals, then Merlinus may actually fit that build quite nicely. He has enough speed to run something like Wind Sweep to not get bodied by slow tanks, and he has 3 movement to get around. Merlinus is not amazing in the general sense, but he can find worth in things like 8-3 defense. We probably aren't going to see many more Dagger Cavaliers, especially free-to-play options, so Hatari Deen is a very unique reward unit. He doesn't have the highest attack and speed like the 5-star options, but Deen does have respectable stats. He does at least outpace the older seasonals without unique weapons, so he's just a solid Heroic Grail unit regardless. In terms of builds, Dean is in a good position to run a bunch of budget setups. Bone Carver Plus comes with the +5 attack and speed, and you can give it 2 extra with the stat refine. That is very solid to go with a simple offensive build like Swift Sparrow and Desperation. Fury 3 is also great, and Brazen attack and speed is always an option too. If you wanted a more mixed phase set, you could run attack and speed solo or the new attack and speed form Sacred Seal. Forms at least give you a little more room to play with, and I think that's good when you're using ranged Cavaliers with their giant 5-space attack range. Regarding speed and defense snag, you can keep it if you want. You can use an ally to push Dean forward, proc the debuffs, and then let him attack. You can also use it defensively, and that's fine too, especially since Bone Carver works on either phase. Same goes for Odd Speed Wave if you want the occasional speed buffs. Dean could also use attack or speed smoke to combo with his dagger debuffs. Now let's talk about stacking Poison Strike and Savage Blow. If you run double Poison Strike with Bone Carver, you can deal 27 damage to a single target. Generally, this is annoying to face if you're using save skills on armed units since it just whittles their HP down for other teammates to finish them off. If you run double Savage Blow, you're going to get 21 AoE damage. This is great if Dean kills his target since you can then move on to the rest of their team. Now, very important thing to note is that Bone Carver always procs at 7 damage even if Dean dies. However, if you use Poison Strike and Savage Blow, you must survive for their effects to kick in. For this reason, you may instead want to run skills like Fury or defense or res boosting skills. You can also run Wind or Water Sweep. Dean is decently fast and Bone Carver gives a speed boost on top. He won't be able to double, which lowers his own killing power, but if it allows Dean to survive and proc his splash damage skills, then it could be worth the trade-off. Wind or Water Sweep is probably your best bet for survivability though, because ranged Cavaliers do not get a lot of skills, or at least for surviving initiations. They do not get Impact A skills, and they cannot run Float Guard either. One tool Dean can use is the Far Trace Kanto skills. If you want Dean to get in and out, he can use Far Trace, and this might be quite fun with Bone Carver also chipping away at enemies. You could add Fatal Smoke somewhere in your build, but we only got so much room for Savage Blow or Poison Strike, so you do have to make compromises. Now, while Bone Carver is a decent offensive weapon, the better pure 1v1 option is the Courtly Fan or Rennick's Vicious Dagger, which is the same weapon. You're going to get the same attack and speed boost, but you're also going to get offensive no follow-up. That would allow you to rock Wind Sweep and still double, or you can just double any slower units using Wary Fighter type skills. You could also use Comb's Quick Dagger or the Ouch Pouch. Dean can charge up a fast special and maybe try to make his way toward lethality. Unfortunately, he cannot run Flashing Blade or Times Pulse, and Heavy Blade may be difficult to proc against tanks. Dean could use his through movement though to snipe a squishier foe. Not listed here, but Disarm Trap is an option for Aether Raids. Otherwise, those are perfectly good skills. If you want buffs, Menace skills or Rouse C skills work very nicely. Dean can also run Catch A skills and mix and match solos. Not sure if it's better than just using Wind Sweep, but Dean could borrow Zane's Defense and Res solo 3 and then you could stack it with the Sacred Seal version. If you're looking for, say, a fun setup, then you could try the Vantage build Jafar can run. Basically, you're going to use Bone Carver with Savage Blow to apply tons of splash damage to grouped up enemies. You also want to debuff, or you also will debuff their defense by -7, and hopefully that's enough for Dean to finish them off with a Vantage attack. You can throw in Close Counter for more fun. Any dagger unit can run this cheesy setup, including Comb. You're just going to need to stay above 25% HP for Bone Carver to do its job, and you're going to have to stay under 75% HP for Vantage to kick in. Overall, we got a decent Tempest Trials event. The 2 Tempest Sacred Seals are okay if you got extra Sacred Coins. I think attack and speed form is a bit more useful, and just speed and res may be good for you, but I do not think it's worth the upgrade if you have other priorities. As for Hatari Deen, very solid Heroic Grail unit. He is a rare class type with good stats, and Bone Carver Plus is a solid inheritable dagger. It can be a simple offensive weapon, and you can combo it with Poison Strike or Savage Blow to stack out of combat damage. It can be very annoying on Dean himself since he has through movement to attack with. I think Hatari Deen is at least worth keeping for the 5-star copy. You can give him some very super budget skills, but if you don't use him, he has a good inheritable dagger to hand out, and speed and defense snag is at least pretty rare if you ever wanted to try it out. Considering Merlinus is our only other free-to-play Dagger Cavalier, and this class type is not really a Fire Emblem staple, Hatari Deen is probably going to remain as one of the few choices if you ever want to build one. Fans of dagger units have gotten some very fun new units to try out with Colm and Dean making their debuts. Be sure to go and grab all these rewards. If you are short on orbs, do consider the anniversary is coming up next month. There is almost certainly going to be a Hero Fest banner, which will probably be very tempting. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.